Hello and welcome back to another episode of Into the 99, where we've got 99 cards, because Commander's number one. We are here with a totally different episode that we're recording on a different day, where we're not doubling up at all. We all dress the same today, you know? These are our uniforms. They're our podcast uniforms. We picked these by design, yeah. I've got everyone still here. No one has left in the last 5 minutes or 3 days if you guys are listening to it on Wednesday. But yeah, happy Wednesday morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm still doing good. I think Brian said, everyone, real quick, how's everyone doing? We'll give a recap. I'm great. Busy week. It either did or didn't snow, and I either like or don't like it. Brian,
it's work. I'll be honest. I'm probably just making my way through it.
Fair. Slothy, how are you midweek? Yeah. How are you on Wednesday?
On Wednesday, I'm probably pretty busy, doing some things for work, and yeah, same with you. I either like or don't like the snow, depending on if we get it.
Yeah, right.
Actually, no, we totally know if we got it or not. I'm just not going to reveal that.
And Sherman, how are you on February 5th, I believe?
I am probably yelling at some sort of support member, unfortunately, because they have taken my iron. For something stupid.
That's fair. That's going to be February 7th. We're deep into the future now. I should have bought a lottery ticket.
Right.
Clearly knowing the numbers that would have won, because this is happening on the 7th. We stopped right in the middle of the spoilers. We did the mythics and there was a lot, so we had some thoughts on them. So Brian, we'll jump right back into the rares, and I guess we'll do part 4 of spoilers, because that's a reasonable amount of product to pump out.
Yeah, like we had a whole other conversation amongst these episodes here, and throughout the week.
Yeah, we might have another bonus episode, a bonus episode, bonus 2. We'll see.
No.
We'll see. Yeah.
But we got Analyze the Pollen for 1 green. It's our first rare. It's a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect Evidence 8. I actually never read with the evidence stuff, so exile cards with total mana value 8 or greater from your graveyard. Ick. It sounds like I will never be playing any of these cards. Search your library for a basic land card. If evidence was collected, instead, search your library for a creature or land card. Reveal that card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. I'm sorry, if I'm throwing away mana value 8, I should be able to go and search for a creature and a land. Get out of here.
Well, this is a ceiling floor kind of situation, right? Like, what's its worst, what's its best? Its best is a tutor for any creature, which is pretty good, into hand especially. No top deck manipulation shenanigans in that one.
It's not 1, though. It's a 1 at, like, basically 1 in bracket 8.
Yeah, so you can search for a Birds of Paradise, or you can search for something crazy.
But like I said, at the floor of it, 1 mana to search for a basic is... Like, that's so many people argue. People argue that that's not ramp. Wah, that's not ramp. But that's part of a cultivate, right? Like, that's the cultivate is 2 and a green. The 2 is to battlefield, just like a Farseek. The 1 is to hand. And that's a very playable thing, right? Like, the one green mana to hand. This fixes. You might have a perfect hand that only has 2 mana, but also this card, and you can go fetch that 3rd mana or a 3rd color you needed. Or even a 2nd color you needed. You drew 2 green. I personally like these very cheap tutors, these very early game tutors that let me fix my mana base. And I play a lot of 5 color stuff, right? So these are really, really good in 5 color stuff. I'm usually heavier on my green mana in 5 color because I'm like, well, my ramp is going to need to hit this.
Well, because green can usually find everything.
Yeah, like with the 5 color, I didn't read that the first time. If you collect evidence, you can search for any land.
Yeah, right. So exactly, it's good in in a Gates theme deck. It's good in that, like late game finding something you need, like that Rogue's Passage, right? Shout out to my boys. You know what I mean? But you can get your Rogue's Passage.
Yep. Go and check them out if you guys haven't.
Yeah, you can get them on Spotify. They're very nice people. And I like their show. It's entertaining. I was on an episode. It was fun.
I whooped them with Talion 6-0, baby.
I still got to see this Talion deck.
I love it. I'm appreciative. I can't wait to go over it.
Fair enough. Slothy, jump into the mole boy.
Yeah, we've got Ansrag's Rampage, 3 double red for a sorcery. Destroy all artifacts you don't control, then exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts that were put into graveyards from the battlefield this turn. You may put a creature card exiled this way onto the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step.
It's a lot of cards to exile potentially from your own deck.
Mm-hmm.
This card looks like someone woke him up and he's angry.
Yes. That seems story accurate.
They dug too deep and woke up the mole.
I don't know how I feel about this card, just because, like you said, like you could be exiling a lot, and it doesn't say like you put the exiled cards back into your graveyard or into your bottom of your library in random order or anything. It's just they stay exiled.
Yeah, you're losing them, and you might get a creature with haste, but that's a costly creature with haste.
So I don't know how I feel about this one.
Yeah, right.
Very, very, very swingy card, but so
yeah, the floor seems very low, and the ceiling also seems pretty low.
Like,
yeah,
this
if I had like home builder was not great.
But like, imagine if I had like a dozen treasures, and and Brian, you cast this. You know, I am tempted to not crack a single treasure just so you have 12. Like,
oh yeah, make them pay for it.
I'm tempted to cast a second harvest and double them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we got the next card, Archdruid's Charm. For a triple green, it's an instant. Choose one. You can search your library for a creature or land card and reveal it. Put it onto the battlefield tapped if it is a land. Otherwise, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Or you can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Or you exile target artifact or enchantment. This rocks.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fantastic card.
Once again, like Softy said in Analyzed Pollen, like you can search for any land. It doesn't say basic in this one.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just like staple for sure. That does a lot. The fact that you again erase the removal part. That's very playable and a really good card. But it's like a tutor or creature card, not the top deck. It's removal of creature with a 1/1 counter, and then like the ability to pseudo fight. And it's also exile target artifact or enchantment. Not even destroy. Like this card's a powerhouse.
This should have replaced many of the other mythics.
Yeah, like this one would be a good mythic for sure. Like it's a very wanted card. Like there's and I know I'm not the best case study for it, but I've got a lot of decks that this could go into. Like I've got I buy 100 of these and not have enough, right?
You know what? Really, Hasbro or Wizard should just come up with like the cards and then present it to people, and go off of the ability of the cards. Where do you think we should rank them? So we could actually get player approval on this should be a mythic. Like this should be uncommon, because half of the mythics
I know
trash.
I know they have to still like have the appearance that the cards aren't only for Commander, but I only look at cards from a Commander standpoint, and this is gasoline.
Yep. The problem with when you do that, where you ask the audience, is they'll take something like this and like, okay, everyone vote this to be the worst rare out there so we can get a lot of copies of this out on the field.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have like half of the community is going to be serious, like, oh yeah, this should be a mythic. The other half's going to be trolling just to get cards they want for.
I want this at common.
I'm biased. Unbiased opinion. You need people's unbiased opinion.
I want this at common. I think it's common. You should probably include 2 per pack.
This is a 7, guys.
Land slot, actually.
Yeah. Where do you rank this card? It's a 7.
7.
This is a 9-drop Sphinx. That's a 1/1 flyer. This is a 7, roughly 7.5, maybe. It's got flying. I'm going to take the next 2 because one's a reprint. Assassin's Trophy, a very welcome reprint to have. A black and a green, destroy target permanent opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for basic land, put on the battlefield, and shuffle. That's a great reprint, and it's got really cool new artwork. I got nothing bad to say about that. Deserves
the artwork is cool.
Yeah, deserves the rare slot. Then so not reprint. We have Assemble the Players. 1 and a white. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. I love that. And once each turn, you may cast a creature spell with power 2 or less from the top. That goes great in that Delny deck.
Yeah.
Ooh wee, buddy.
That's a card. That's a card.
Again, this should replace many of the mythics.
Yeah.
I wish you could cast them once per turn. Once each turn, you may cast a creature. I wonder if you have to follow timing restrictions or if it's allowing you to bypass them.
In what way?
Because it says once each turn, you may cast a creature with power 2 or less from the top, right? But if I have to, do I have to have flash, or am I able to? Is this card bypassing the timing restriction?
I think if the creature had flash on it, you would be good.
No, but he's also saying if you have like a Vidalcan Ori, it's like on your turn.
Oh.
Yeah, this is once each turn you may cast a creature spell. That's an ability, and that ability
on your turn.
Yeah, and I think that ability might be letting you bypass timing restrictions. I'd have to look, and I'll have to consult with the judges.
I would agree with your assessment. I would say that you would be able to cast it on like Slothy's turn or my turn or something like that. So, because it doesn't say on your turn, it just says once each turn. So I would be like, yeah, you read the card, explains the card. You read it says once each turn. It doesn't say on your turn. It says once each turn. So I would agree with that.
Guys, the flavor text on this is fantastic. All will soon be made clear. But I can give you this. Our killer is here in this. Killer is here with us in this very room.
I really like the artwork of it too, with like the Judith, the Tolsimir. We've got Aurelia. Like, I think that's really cool. Krenko in the back. That's
it's on Krenko or Judith. Like, that's those are my guesses.
That's very, very cool artwork. I'm a big fan.
Ryan, you got the next one?
Sure do. We got Audience with Tristani. 2 and a green sorcery. Create a 0/1 green plant creature token. Then draw a card equal to the number of different named creature tokens you control. That's fantastic for any of our token decks.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. I think that's cool.
Different with it. Just because,
can this be like Mythic adjacent?
I don't think this one would hit Mythic. Yeah, this one mid-thick.
Hence why I said adjacent.
The next one we've got here is Aurelia, the Law Above. 3 red and a white for a 4/4 legendary creature angel with flying, vigilance, and haste. Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia, the Law Above deals 3 damage to each of your opponents, and you gain 3 life.
Oh, buddy, this is fantastic.
That's killer.
I'm really excited for this. Again, this is just
a lot of Ishin bait. Yeah. But that's a good angel. That's a good Boros angel right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun card.
Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more
Daniel's not calling dibs yet.
No, I'm going to build that. I'm over here just making a list of cards I want from the set. Aurelia's on that list for sure.
All our spoilers episodes are just Daniel's shopping list.
It's not my shopping list.
Checking out the catalog.
Yeah. It's you're not wrong.
Funny. That's real fun right there.
All right, I'm going to take the next 2 because we talked about the one in the previous episode. So we have the Axebane Ferox with 2 green, the Beast 4/4 Death Touch haste with Ward collects evidence 4. So Brian talked about that, saying how
he doesn't have his mustache in this.
Womp womp.
All right, so
I like the other boy.
Next one we have is Barbed Servitor for 3 and a black. It's an artifact creature construct for a 1/1. Indestructible. When the Barbed Servitor wow, I cannot speak today.
Call it Barbie. Whenever Barbie
the Barbie enters the battlefield, suspect it. Whenever Barbie deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Whenever Barbie is dealt damage, target opponent loses that much life.
That's a great card.
I like this, actually. I like this Barbie.
Yeah, block away.
This is a spiky Barbie.
That is a spiky Barbie.
Can you do a proxy of this and make it a Barbie doll for me?
Do you know what this looks like? A Barbie that the guy from Toy Story got his hands onto and just absolutely deflated.
Yeah.
Oh, Sid, what are you doing over here?
That's a good card. I think that's pretty cool. We have Blood Spatter Analysis. 1 black, 1 red, enchantment. Huh?
Said, did you write it down?
No, that one, that I don't play much black stuff, sadly. It's it's all green. It's all green and white for me. I like a lot of white stuff. Like the Aurelia, like the Delny. I'm making a Delny deck for sure. That's such a cool card. Probably going to make Atomic deck too, right? Like but I don't really play like many like Rakdos things. And this has a lot of good Rakdos cards in it, like the Rakdos Demon itself. And this Blood Spatter Analysis, as I was saying. 1 black, 1 red. When it enters, it deals 3 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Pretty decent lightning bolt. Whenever one or more creatures dies, mill a card and put a Bloodstain counter on Blood Spatter Analysis. Then sack it if it has 5 or more. When you do, return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty decent. I like these ones. Yes, I guess you take the first case and you can explain what they do.
Interesting. We're going to learn together today, guys. So we got Case of the Crimson Pulse. When this case enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw 2 cards. To solve, you have no cards in hand. So once it's solved, at the beginning of your upkeep, discard your hand, then draw 2 cards.
To solve it, it's you have to meet that criteria at your end step. Yeah.
So to solve it, you have to have no cards in hand.
Now, what does it do if it's solved?
So if it's solved, at the beginning of your upkeep, discard your hand, then draw 2 cards.
Quick note as well. If you do copy an enchantment, like one of these enchantments, you have to solve the thing again. If it's already solved, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't enter solved. Okay. That's fair.
No, that would make sense to me.
Beginning of your upkeep, discard your hand, then draw. So you're getting that before your draw step. So this turns into a draw 3 impulse.
I don't know if I like this.
I play stuff like Hazret where I don't have cards in hand already. So for me, it's just a good draw engine with that.
Fair.
I like it.
The next case we've got is the Case of the Locked Hothouse. 3 and a green. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. To solve, you control 7 or more lands. And then if it is solved, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. And you may play lands and cast creatures and enchantment spells from the top of your library.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one seems a lot better than the red one.
Okay, yeah. Additional land, and you can play creature, land, and enchantment. That goes into so many decks, like the Yenna and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Copy this with Yenna, you can play 3 lands a turn.
I love the artwork for this too. It's just, you have like a decapitated body.
Yeah.
Just laying there.
I like these skull flowers.
Is the hothouse like the greenhouse?
Yeah.
When I think of a hothouse, I think of maybe like a jacuzzi or a sauna.
I like that the flowers in the top left have skulls.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, I love the skull flowers.
Mm-hmm.
The enchantment, the case enchantments are pretty interesting.
All right. Then we have another case. Oh, we're going through all the cases here. Case of the Ransacked Lab for 2 and a blue. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. I love that already.
That's good.
To solve, you cast 4 or more instant and sorcery spells this turn.
That's easily done.
Oh my goodness. And when
there's papers, Sherman.
Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card. Yo, what? Not a mythic.
That's pretty fire.
Mm-hmm.
Instant and sorcery, the cost reduction, the turning all of your spells into cantrips is nuts. And 4 spells a turn is nothing.
This should have been a mythic. This is so strong. For a spell slinger like me, this is like up my alley. I need like every single copy that's out there for this.
Well, and this is just an auto include in storm decks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Brian, it has paper in it.
Spells.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I told you there was papers in there.
We have Case of the Stashed Skeleton. I really think this is cool artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1 and a black. When this case enters, you create a 2/1 black skeleton creature token and suspect it, like that. To solve, you control no suspected skeletons. Okay, so it has to die. Solved is pay 1 in the black, sack this case, search your library for a card, put it in your hand, then shuffle, activate only as a sorcery. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Getting rid of the skeleton is like a no problem in like a normal sacrifice kind of deck, and that's just a tutor there is really, really good.
As soon as I saw this card, all that started going through my head was the CSI theme song. Do, 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 do. I've been watching way too much TV.
Fair. Oh, wow, this is a good one too. Brian, take this one, please.
Here we go. We got a case of the uneaten feast. 1 white. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. I like it already. So to solve it, you've gained 5 or more life this turn. Once it's solved, you can sacrifice this case, and creature cards in your graveyard gain. You may cast this card from your graveyard until end of turn. Please, I need so many.
That's some absolute heat.
Yes.
That's really good. The Johnny's Welcome's always sold out.
Yeah.
This is just a better. This is a Johnny's Welcome. Yeah. I'm just quickly writing this down on my list of cards I need.
I'm going to take these next 2.
Please.
But the first one we've got is Commercial District. It is a land and mountain forest, so it is fetchable. You can tap it for red or green. It enters tapped, and when it enters, surveil 1. Pretty simple. I assume there's going to be one of these for each of the guilds.
Most likely.
Then we've got Connecting the Dots. 1 in a red for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library face down. And you can pay 1 in red to discard your hand, sacrifice Connecting the Dots, put all cards exiled with Connecting the Dots into their owner's hand.
That's cool.
The flavor text, I feel this way when I play games sometimes. How could I have missed it? The answer was right in front of me all along. Like, I missed my triggers. I could have won. No!
Oh, yeah, always.
That's fair.
Okay. We have a Covenant Falcon for 1 blue. Artifact creature bird. It's a 1/4. Flying. Whenever the Falcon attacks, gains control of target permanent you own, but don't control. It has disguise for 1 in a blue. When the Falcon is turned face up, target opponent gains control of any number of target permanents you control. Draw a card for each one they gained control of this way.
That's on the list. That's on the list for Elucin.
Mm-hmm. Huh. I like that.
Totally, yeah.
I love to. It's really fun to be able to just pass things around the table, too. There's a lot of decks I like that actually. Target opponent gains control of any number of target permanents you control. I have a lot of decks where I play everyone else's cards. So a way to give them back is kind of nice. Every now and then.
You're thinking of trying to be generous now? I took this, but I can give it back, you know?
Yeah, that's the donations. We have the Cryptex. 2 mana, tap, collect evidence 3, add 1 mana of any color, put an unlock counter on the Cryptex. Just Cryptex, not the Cryptex, but I'm going to call it the Cryptex. Sacrifice Cryptex, surveil 3, then draw 3 cards, activate only if it has 5 or more unlock counters on it. That's pretty steep. That's you've exiled 15 mana worth to get 3 draw over 5 turns.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know, weak. Pretty weak mythic. And not a good mana rock. I wish it was like something like tap to add like a Arcane Signet style 2 mana, 1 mana of any color would have been such a good rare. I don't know. Not a fan. Not a fan.
Like, so I could see this going into a Squee deck. That's about it.
Yeah. With Squee would be a great spot for this, right?
Yeah, but that's about it.
The next card that we have here is Cryptic Coat. 2 and a blue for artifact equipment. When Cryptic Coat enters the battlefield, cloak the top card of your library, then attach Cryptic Coat to it. The cloak card, 2/2 creature. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. And you can pay 1 and a blue to return Cryptic Coat to its owner's hand.
I like that.
And?
That's pretty cool. An equipment without an equip cost is very interesting.
I didn't even notice that.
And fun to blink, I think. I like that one. I got nothing bad to say.
Yeah.
This artwork's phenomenal.
For this next one?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Deadly Cover-Up. 3 double black for sorcery. As an additional cost to cast it, you may collect evidence 6. Destroy all creatures. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard, then search its owner's graveyard and library for any number of cards with that name and exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way.
Once again, I can see this for like standard or something like that.
If they've sacrificed like a basic,
I was gonna say, let me reread this. Destroy all creatures. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. Then this lets you splinter again. This is just my splinter play. You just have to destroy one of their lands.
Yeah.
And then strip all the forests from their deck. That's hilarious.
You guys are awful.
That's like playing Splinter in Commander's like my favorite thing to do. It's so funny because no one ever sees it coming. Because who does that? Who acts that way? Me. I act that way in my Freyalise deck. Any Freyalise deck I'm playing, I'll tell you right now, it has a liquid metal torque in it, or Took, or whatever it is. It has the other thing that turns things to artifacts, and it has Splinter. I build Freyalise, and before even a Llanowar Elf or a Soul Ring goes in the deck, I'm like, Splinter. This is hilarious. Because I like to get rid of everyone's stripping all the basic lands is hilarious. This is gross. This is like just a really, really funny other way to do that. And yeah, it's so easy to just run a destroy target permanent, destroy target land. I'm so into this card.
Within.
Yeah, exactly, right? Beast within their land, and then strip again. And like you're playing I'm playing my mono white two or less Delny deck, and you strip all my planes away. All right, well, you have a great night, and I'm a big fan of this. It's going on the list.
Absolutely.
It's going on. I'm terrified now.
That's hilarious.
Episode, we learned how to piss off the play group.
Exile. That's rough. That's yikes. That's really good, and the artwork's great. I would just be like, I had to play it, guys. It's the artwork.
Oh, you want to know what's even funnier?
Throw me to it.
Say you're against that 2 mana or less Delny deck. You destroy all their planes. Say they got 20 in their library. They draw 20 cards and have to discard at least 13 of them.
That player shuffles, then draws. Oh, that's even worse. That's even more annoying. So I strip all of your forests out. You lose 20 forests, and you have to draw 20 cards. Oh no, it's only from their hand. Okay, but
only
still.
From their hand, yeah.
But still.
Still, yeah.
I'm a big fan of all of this card. And again, the artwork, I cannot say enough how much I enjoy the look of this artwork. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Artwork is good.
Okay, we better move on before we talk more about how to ruin everyone's night with this one card. We have the Doorkeeper Thrall.
I love this card.
1 in white. It is a 1/2 with flash and flying. Artifacts and creatures entering the battlefield don't cost abilities to trigger. I stand corrected. There's another card that's going to be salty.
I love this card.
Yeah, this card's great. Another hate pair.
Yep.
This that is a good card. I wanted to talk this next one. I'm glad it lines up with me. A lot of people call this, and I quote, unplayable garbage. And they're wrong. It's so cool. Doppelgang is XXX, a green, and a blue. So we're looking at a minimum of 5. For each of X target permanents, create X tokens that are copies of that permanent. So if we dump 5 mana into it, we get 1 copy. That's still not bad. If we get 8 mana into it, we get 2 copies of 2 of our permanents. 11 mana, 3 copies of 3 of our permanents. That's really, really good in green. Simic has no problem generating mana.
And plus whatever other doubling items you have.
Well, again, hitting 20 mana in Commander is not crazy, right? And what would that let me get? 20 mana, I need 18. What's that? What's the math? Someone math me. What's 18 divided by 3?
3 divided by... So we have 18. So 3 divided by 18.
6.
6.
Okay.
Plus the 2, so that's 20. So you're going to have 6 copies.
Yeah, so with 20 mana, I'd get 6 copies of 6 permanents. Not 6 permanents I control, just 6 permanents. I might be crazy, but is Cabal Coffers legendary?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, so I get 6 Cabal Coffers. Interesting.
That's right. It's target permanent. It's not non-land permanent.
Yeah, I get 6 doubling seasons. Okay, it's all right.
Couple quarters of mattresses.
6 Crater Hoof Behemoths.
Can you imagine 6 Crater Hoofs hitting the field?
Woof. Oh, if you got to do, if this wasn't a Bant deck, having both. The
6 Crater Hoof, 6 Moonshaker categories.
They got trample and flying. Yo!
What's the other one? And raise Forerunners. Just you just make all of your creatures get like wild. It's just Anthem City.
Even if you have like dumb mana, and you have the white creature that makes them base power XX, the changeling one.
Mirror Entity.
Yeah, you make them all that, and you have 6. Yeah,
I just personally I like to play a lot of landfall decks, and a lot of landfall decks happen to be in these colors, right?
Yep.
But nothing says I can't target 6 different forests if I've got 20 of my lands, and then I'll make 6 copies of 6 forests and landfall like crazy.
Landfall, 36 times.
Timber.
Yeah, right. Like that's
and the lumberjack over here.
I just, like I said, I see a lot of potential at the very worst for 5 mana. Getting a copy of any permanent on the field isn't bad. I would look at this as a minimum of 8 cost to get 2 copies of 2 permanents, because again, even if you look at it, if you target that as lands and stuff, right? Just no one plays it, but like Temple of the False God, right? If I get 8 Temple of the False Gods, that's pretty good.
Wow, mana.
Yeah, right?
You can actually activate them then.
Right? Yeah, well, that's funny. But yeah, like it's again, like looking at lands is pretty great, but just, I don't know, getting 4 copies at 8 mana is pretty good. 2 mana a copy is not a bad deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I got nothing else to say on it. I like it. I'm a fan.
Am I the next one here?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So we got Drag the Canal, blue and black. Instant. Create a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token. If a creature died this turn, you gain 2 life. Surveil 2, then investigate.
I like that.
Yeah. There's a lot going on for 2 mana there.
Let's really quickly as well, we talked about the guild things, but I like that they're fetchable. Like the Surveil duels are pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's so the next one's Elegant Parlor, which is just the next Surveil duel. It's the Boros one. They enter tapped, as all of the new duels are always going to, but you enter tap Surveil 1. I like that it's fetchable. I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm. Then we've got Ezram Agency Chief, 1 double white, double blue for a 5/5 legendary Archon Detective with flying. When Ezram Agency Chief enters the battlefield, investigate twice, and you can sacrifice an artifact to have Ezram gain your choice of Vigilance, Lifelink, or Hexproof until end of turn.
I like that. That's pretty good.
That would be a fun commander.
Yeah, especially like we were saying with the ability to throw those artifacts out. Like there's so many things that are when it enters or leaves, draw a card, like trash artifacts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that a lot.
We got the Forensic Gadgeteer for 2 and a blue. This creature, the Vidalcan Artificer Detective for a 2/3. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, investigate. Activated abilities or artifacts you control cost 1 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana in a cost to less than 1. That's solid.
That's really good. I'm a big fan of that. I'm going to take the next 3 because one's a land. We have Fugitive Codebreaker, which is 1 and a red for a 2/1 Goblin Rogue with prowess and haste and disguise. 5 and a red. The cost is reduced by 1 for each instant sorcery in your graveyard. Okay. So you can flip it face up basically for 1. When it's turned face up, discard your hand, draw 3 cards. Meh, pretty decent, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Hedge Maze, which is just beautiful artwork of the Fetchable Surveil lands. But I wanted to talk about this one because I am in love with the very creepy schizophrenia artwork on this card. It's Hide in Plain Sight. 3 and a green. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, cloak 2 of them, and put the rest on the bottom in a random order. And the flavor text is the trees look beautiful until they look back. That's yeah, right. I love this card. It's really cool. But
I need to find some shifty eyes to throw in this card.
the double cloak is interesting because again, you don't have to cloak creatures, right? So being able to turn some of your lands into 2/2 face down creatures is a pretty interesting way to play this. I think that this is a playable card for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this card. It's so silly looking.
That's great.
It goes on the list.
The next card that we have here is Homicide Investigator. It's 1 and a black. Creature, Human Detective. Whenever 1 or more non-token creatures you control die, investigate. This ability triggers only once each turn. I'm sorry, if you're putting a cap on it to trigger only once each turn, remove the non-token. But I'll finish up at 2/2. Like, you're capping it. You're capping it. You're giving me no reason to not do. Like, I can't do it more than once.
This is kind of a garbage rare.
Doesn't
the only
seem
reason
great.
to do it more than once is if I had the token creatures to throw it through the ringer, but I don't.
Well, again, and it's there's 3 restrictions, right? Once each turn, non-token, and you have to control it. It's not whenever a creature dies, so you can still, like, whenever a non-token dies, like that. It's a lot of thing to get a clue, all to get 1 clue token.
Yeah, like
there's so many better options.
Yeah, give me a clue and a treasure if you're going to give me all these things.
Yeah.
Boo, wizards, boo.
Or like investigate and surveil 1.
Something. Give me something if you're, or I've got 3 hoops to jump through. Give me 3 little payoffs. Even make it the treasure food clue.
Yeah.
Don't cap me with just a clue that does nothing and isn't even clue themed.
Next up, we've got the Hunted Bone Brute, 2 and a black for a 6/2 skeleton beast with menace. When Hunted Bone Brute enters the battlefield, target opponent creates 2 1/1 white dog creature tokens, and when Hunted Bone Brute dies, each opponent loses 3 life. And it has disguise for 1 and a black, sorry.
A 6/2 menace is big.
I like this card. I just like the artwork, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a 6/2 with menace, but it does give your opponents all of the tools it needs to kill it.
You mean your ally, right? So
depends.
If we're attacking Daniel, it's like, hey, Slothy, you get 2 1/1 dogs, and I get this beast.
Woof, woof.
So it doesn't have to be the person that you want to go after. It can be any opponent. All right. The next card we have is Illicit Masquerade for 3 and a black. It is an enchantment with flash. When Illicit Masquerade enters the battlefield, put an imposter counter on each creature you control. Whenever a creature you control with an imposter counter on it dies, exile it. Return up to 1 other target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Whoa.
That's pretty cool.
That's neat, yeah.
I like that.
I like that art too. It's weird looking.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool. This is so cool.
We have an ill-timed explosion, 2/1 blue, 1 red. Draw 2 cards. It's sorcery. Draw 2 cards, then you may discard 2 cards. When you do, ill-timed explosion deals X damage to each creature, where X is the greatest mana value among cards discarded this way. Not a horrible one.
No.
Decent board wipe, small little draw. It's playable. Again, with that Melek for 2 is great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Only too late did the agency custodian realize the device had not been inactive. It was just waiting for the right trigger.
True. Take us away, Brian.
We have Izoni, Center of the Web, 4 black, green, legendary creature, elf detective. We got the good old Menace Menace. Whenever Izoni, center of the web, enters the battlefield or attacks, you may collect evidence 4. If you do, create 2/2/1 black and green spider creature tokens with Menace and Reach. Sacrifice 4 tokens. Surveil 2, then draw 2 cards. You gain 2 life.
I don't know how I feel about this one.
I don't like the collect evidence. If this was just on attack, this would be really playable and cool. But to have to throw away 4 mana of cards to get 2 tokens, and then I can't even use the token sack ability until I've done that twice. I've had to throw away 8. It's a lot. It's a lot of hoops to jump through with the collect evidence. I'm not a fan of that
number
mechanic.
Real high.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan of that mechanic. Like it's I just don't like it. Like maybe if they gave me a you get them back when this creature dies thing, and it was like repeatable and playable, but it's just we only have a finite number of cards in decks, right? Like, unless you're me, there's only 100 cards in commander decks. Brian likes that?
Like,
right.
Yeah. Overall, if they made it evidence 2, I could be like, okay, maybe. But like you said, evidence 4 is pretty steep for doing this.
It's just the
evidence anything is too expensive.
Had they changed the collect evidence to discard cards up to X from your hand to your grave, then this would be such a great design, right? I'm in like Golgari, I'm throwing cards to the grave. That's wonderful. I'm surveilling built into the commander, so it's a great. But like you're in Golgari, the whole point of using the graveyard is to bring them back, not to get them exiled from your graveyard, right? Like it's just like had the collect evidence been like you have to discard X cards, very playable. I'd have a different opinion on it, but like. Exile from your graveyard mana value is not good because again, it's not exact mana values, right? So a lot of times I think you're going to be going over because you only have like okay, I need to collect evidence 4, but I've got 6. So now I'm throwing away 6 CMC to get my 4. I don't like it. Not a fan.
Yep. Don't enjoy it at all.
Yeah. I've collected the evidence and this is a bad mechanic.
The next one we've got here is one that is actually very, very good. Judith Carnage Connoisseur. 3 black and red for a 3/4 legendary human shaman. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, choose 1. That spell gains Death Touch and Lifelink. Or create a 2/2 red imp creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 2 damage to each opponent.
Dibs.
I always forget. To me, this just reads make Fire Song and Sunspeaker without life gain and black. That's how this card reads to me. That's the whole text is just make Sunspeaker. No,
Daniel, you mentioned that you don't play Rakdos. Here you go, please.
Let me tell you, I play Rakdos when it's Fire Song and Sunspeaker. I might illegally pair Fire Song and Sunspeaker with this together.
Gross.
They have the same kind of ability. They're just giving me access to Death Touch on my spells. Which I don't need. I don't need Death Touch and Fire Song Sunspeaker at all. I'm playing Star of Extinction no matter what. Bonk. But yeah, no, this is pretty good. But I always forget how wildly good that second part is. That second part of the text is crazy. The 2/2 imp token on casting instant and sorcery, 2 damage on the death of it. That's a whole other deck route and a good one.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's going to Mogus as well.
That's a very good one.
Writing down another card.
I am, yes.
All right, I will move on for now. So we have Kellen, Inquisitive Prodigy. It's a 2 and a green and a blue. For a legendary creature, Human Fairy Detective. It's a 3/4. It does have an adventure for Tail to Suspect for a green and a blue. It's sorcery speed. So the tail for the adventure, you can investigate. You may play an additional land this turn. Solid. I like that. For its actual ability, has flying, vigilance. Whenever Kellen, Inquisitive Prodigy, attacks, destroy up to 1 target artifact. If you control that permanent, draw a card. I like the adventure, but its ability itself, I guess on attack, it's not too bad. You can get rid of stuff you don't care about.
I think it's horrendously underwhelming. I just like
the adventure part. That's it.
I don't know. It's just they're trying to do too much with Kellen. The the different color identities nonstop of like, it's a Boros card. It's not a Boros. I don't like it. It's, I don't know. None of the Kellen cards have really captivated me at all.
And that's one of the new main characters that they're trying to push?
Kellen's Oko's son. So like especially now that we don't need to planeswalk in between things, Kellen's kind of someone going through like the omen paths to different planes and traveling around, like kind of seeing things, right? So it makes sense story-wise, but I have to wait to see how their omen path story plays out before I criticize. You don't criticize the first chapter of a book, right? So
true.
Yeah. I do like the next one though, because I love everything Krenko, and I think it's cool artwork. We've got Krenko, Baron of Tin Street, 2 and red, 3/3 goblin with haste. Sack an artifact, put a 1/1 counter on each goblin you control.
Wow.
Great ability.
Wow.
Great ability. Whenever an artifact's put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you can pay a red. If you do, you create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gains haste. That's very, very good. Again, we keep talking about the same kind of like sacrifice an artifact, throw your own things away with like your normal commander sphere kind of things. This is you don't even need to run goblins to have a pretty strong goblin deck that isn't I tap Krenko, make 10 goblins. I crack like it's I like it. It's a fresh take on Krenko, and I'm a fan of it.
That's a nice synergy. I do enjoy it, actually. Like, I wish the other cards were somewhat like that, where they could work a little bit better. And then we have, talking about Krenko, actually, we got Krenko's Buzz Cutter 2 red, artifact creature, insect thopter, flying, trample. When Krenko's Buzz Cutter or Buzz Crusher enters the battlefield, for each player destroy up to 1 non-basic land that player controls. Wow. For each land destroyed this way, its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle.
Wow.
I think Commander needs more of this.
Agreed.
There's someone was saying recently that the unwritten rules of Commander are kind of wrecking Commander. And I agree. The whole like leave my lands alone, like don't destroy lands. It's not fun. No, there's a lot of good stuff in the land section, and sometimes like I play Tabernacle in some decks. Sometimes people have to run some land destruction. You know what I mean? Like it can't only be left to like a beast within and someone having to be like, okay, well that's annoying. I have to, right? Like this again is getting rid of some non-basics. I like this. There's a lot of. Not every play group is seeing a Gaia's Cradle and stuff like that, but there is, you know what I mean? There's definitely some times where you have to do it. You have to get rid of that stuff.
Sometimes you have to get rid of that Maze of Ith.
Again, yeah, that might be preventing you from win. If you're in a Voltron deck and someone has a Maze of Ith, you don't have a win con.
Sometimes you just got a Beast Within Slothy's Forest.
It's about sending a message, yes.
Yeah, got to assert dominance, especially when we're tit for tat right now.
Yeah.
I can't remember who's up and who's down.
I think we're 1-1 right now.
Okay.
1-1 or 2-2.
The peace stands.
For now. Next up, we've got Kylox, Visionary Inventor. 5 blue and a red for a 4/4 legendary creature, Vaishino Artificer, with Menace, Ward 2, and Haste. Whenever Kylox, Visionary Inventor, attacks, sacrifice any number of other creatures. Then exile the top X cards of your library, where X is their total power. You may cast any number of instants and or sorcery spells from among the exiled cards without paying their mana costs.
See, so this right here is a prime example of, please, where are my Viciano, where are my Sardine tribal people here?
Where are they at?
Yeah, and I know that this is a creature type that's been around since basically the beginning of Magic. There's old Vicianos like out there, like it sounds like I should be searching for these in the ocean, but like,
but Brian, we have Vidalcan fishes instead of
not a merfolk. Clearly not a merfolk. That's a Vidalcan fish detective. Yeah.
Yeah.
This card,
I feel like
I don't know how I feel about this, because it's really good in theory. It's really good in theory, but you have to run enough creatures that you have creatures to sacrifice, and then you've got it's a really high cost. Like this if you slot this into a deck like Ovika, right? And then you drop this down in your Ovika deck and you sacrifice 20 of your goblins, exile 20 cards, cast all those swords. That's great. That then you're, but like I evaluate from a commander standpoint, and is this like a commander? And I can't see this in the command zone.
No, I agree that throwing it in Ovika was kind of my first thought too. It just feels like there's a very fine balance between having creatures and instants and sorceries in this deck that Ovika is just able to circumvent a lot easier.
Yeah, where
a lot fewer slots.
Had this been down in like a 4 slot, right, where I can, but like this is a heavy investment where I need a board state, then I need 7 mana, and then like I need a deck built with a ability to, let's even say that I've got 10 tokens or 10 creatures or whatever, right? That it's just a lot of that. Now, that being said, I like to evaluate cards a little bit like Sherman does, and you're in red and you have a lot of take people's stuff effects, right?
Yeah, out of here. No.
So if you're able to run like a theft theme deck where you're able to keep taking their stuff, like an insurrection, for example, gain control of all creatures, and then you tap and set, that's hilarious. Right? So, but like, it just, to me, it seems like a lot of hoops to jump through. I'm sure someone, like, that's the beauty of Commander in general, right? Is that someone more clever than me is going to build like a really cool deck of this, and I'm going to be like, oh, that's so fun. I need to make a version. So.
No, I agree with you. Like, I would definitely build a deck around stealing people's creatures. But like you said, the biggest problem is the fact that it's a 7 cost.
It's a big investment, right?
Even at a 5 cost, I would still consider doing that, right? But a 7 cost is just so much.
If this had let me throw away artifacts instead of creatures, then I could ramp the deck heavy with mana rocks. I could ramp the deck heavy with like things that make me clue tokens. But like it's not really like a token mass generator unless you're playing the creatures, right? Like, it's not like it just like I think
Ovika works out so well because
it generates it. Ovika, a Locust God, things like that. Like, again, this is a great card in Locust God and
Sauron?
in Ovika.
Sauron with the orcs, or no? Yeah,
Saruman.
Yeah, I think it's too expensive to see play. Like, it almost, at this cost, it almost looks like a unset card. And it's again, like I complain when they overstat things, but this is like kind of understated, 4/4 menace ward 2 haste, but still on a 4/4 at 7.
I do like the artwork a lot.
The artwork I love. I would love if this was functional.
I'm happy.
Like, you have like a raptor that's a mad scientist. Like, come on.
Again, I'm a big fan of like extensive rule zero, like, let me play things different. I literally might just be like, can I play this deck but with artifacts instead? And then it'd be fun. Then I'd have a great time playing. But
let's move on before we
whack.
All right, next card we have is Lamplight Phoenix for 1 red. It's a Phoenix for a 3/3. It has flying because it's a Phoenix. When the Lamplight Phoenix dies, you may exile it and collect evidence 4. If you do, return the Phoenix to the battlefield tapped. Once again, I don't care about this one.
I don't want to.
Yeah. Meh. I'm going to take the next 2 because I have to talk the one after this. But so we've got Lazav, Wearer of Faces. That's a really funny name. A blue or black shapeshifter detective 2/3. When Lazav, Wearer of Faces, attacks, exile target card from a graveyard, then investigate. I like that. And whenever you sack a clue, you may have Lazav become a copy of a creature exiled with it until end of turn. So it stacks up like a big number of things that it can turn into. I think that's great.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Fits with the shapeshifter theme. It fits with like the investigation theme. I think it's very, very interesting. I that's very playable to me, and a 2-mana commander is very fun.
Yeah.
I have to talk this card though. Leyline of the Guild Pact. Come on. So we've got hybrid Selesnya, hybrid Simic, hybrid Golgari, hybrid Gruul. That's not very hard, and if anyone's doing the math at home, that's 4 forests. If anyone's doing the math at home, you can cast this for 4 forests, which is how I'm looking at it, because that's 4 forests. Yeah. If it's in your opening hand, you can begin the game with it on the battlefield. Each non-land permanent you control is all colors. Phenomenal. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. They've given me Valakut nonsense.
This is stupid.
Everything's a mountain.
Everything's a mountain, and therefore everything is Valakut damage.
Everything is awesome.
But
everything is fun when you're getting bolted.
But in all seriousness, the fact that this is fixing lands in all decks with the land type fixing, because again, you can just drop a High Tide. Bam, here goes a High Tide, and now it's time to go silly.
Oh, okay, everything's islands.
What's the card? People play it all the time. It's annoying. It's black, doubles your mana. Cabal Coffers. Cabal Coffers again. Like any of the things you need to do with like that you normally would typically do with a Urborg or a Yavimaya, you're just good. Lands you control being basic every type is nuts. Like they won't print a Valakut version of Yavimaya for a reason. They won't print a island version of it for a reason, because again, then you can just High Tide. You just High Tide for 1 mana, double your mana. That's crazy. So there's a lot of really, really good stuff. I like that in a sliver deck. It's sliver deck bait for sure. But like starting the game with all colors unlocked is pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say enough good things about it. I thought a lot of people thought this was a fake card at first. And then a bunch of people also said that they're just like, it doesn't seem that good. I'm like, well, it does. In 5 color decks, it's very good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Being able to be mana fixed off the bat is...
The fact that you could do it with 4 forests is crazy. That's the ramp color. Yeah, it's just like the fact you could technically play a 5 color deck with only forests and this card. That's funny. You technically play a 5 color Valakut deck that only had forests and a Valakut with this card, which is really funny. I'm a big fan of it. Yeah.
So move that is funny, but we got to keep going here. For our next card, we have Lost in the Maze. That's X and 2 blue enchantment flash. When Lost in the Maze enters the battlefield, tap X target creatures. Put a stun counter on each of those creatures you don't control. Tapped creatures you control have hexproof.
It's pretty good.
Did they just reuse
the artwork? I scrolled up to see the same thing, and it's basically the same. You are not wrong. It is basically the same.
Did I miss something?
No, it's the Simic, the Simic,
hedge maze.
Yeah, hedge maze. It's not far off from that artwork.
Wow, I did.
I was scrolling on up there. I was like, yep, this is
from the opposite side, guys. I hate to say it, it's probably two of the AI generated photos.
We're not using AI art. Wink.
I'm going to take these next 3.
Yeah, of course.
Because 2 of them are lands. We got Lush Portico, which is the Selesnya Surveil land, and we've got Meticulous Archive, which is the Azorius Surveil land. And then, one of the most excited that any card from this set got me, I've already built 2 versions of this one.
This one's heat.
Niv-Mizzet Guild Pact. It's Wooburg for a 6/6 legendary creature dragon avatar, flying, hexproof from multicolored. Whenever Niv-Mizzet Guild Pact deals combat damage to a player, it deals X damage to any target. Target player draws X cards, and you gain X life, where X is the number of different color pairs among permanents you control that are exactly 2 colors.
I'm in love.
It's so good.
I'm in love. And again, obviously, I'm going double strike Guild Pact. Mm-hmm. For sure, right? But like that's such a I love the like Niv-Mizzet Perrin was like really good for that. Greg in our play group plays that. And it's that's the ETB, you search for the color pairs. And that deck always goes great. There's lots of fun videos on our YouTube. You should check them out. They're long turns, Greg. Take your turns faster. But other than that, like they're still great games. Like, and Niv-Mizzet is an awesome Commander, I love all of the Niv Mizzet stuff. Niv Mizzet's one of my throwback favorite cards.
I do think you mean Niv Mizzet Reborn, though.
Which one's Niv? Oh, Niv. Yes, I meant Reborn. Perrin's the instant sorcerer one. I love all Niv Mizzets equally. No Niv Mizzet discrimination in this house.
It's okay, because we have no witnesses. After that, for 2 white, the sorcery, each player who controls the most creatures investigates to destroy all creatures.
I've never been personified more with the flavor text in my whole life. When cunning fails, there's always violence. Oh, that sums me up.
Yeah.
This card's got me pegged. I really like that card. We have auspicious? Either way. Interrogation. 1 blue, 1 white. The spell costs 1 blue, 1 white for each target beyond it. Choose any number of target players. Investigate X times, where X is the total number of creatures those players control. That's great. So you're basically looking at 3 white, 3 blue, because that's how I'm casting this. Brian?
Then the next card we have here is Outrageous Robbery, X and 2 black. It's an instant. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color.
I like that. I'm a big fan of cards like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an exile their deck card if you have infinite mana.
When you can't erase your own trail, leave as many false ones as possible.
I like the fact that they made this an instant, so if someone tutors and puts a card on the top of their library, and you're like, oh, let's see what it is for 3 mana.
Ooh, I love some top deck manipulation.
Sure does.
That's still it's still one of my favorite. I got to get one of those clips up. We're playing like a higher power, like semi-competitive game, and someone tutored something to the top of their library, and I'm just sitting. Yeah, I'm sitting. They were tutoring your shoulder, but I'm just sitting there with a smile on my face, and they just like they tutor and everything, and they're like okay, yeah, so it's gonna be. They're like talking about. They're like, I bet it's shoulder, and he's like, it is shoulder, and everyone's all happy, and then I'm like, millet, and they're like, what? I'm like, millet. And it's just such a funny interaction.
Millstone or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's just I gotta clip that one. I gotta find where that part is because it's so funny. They were a great sport about it, but it was a good time.
For sure, I got a short for it.
The next one we've got here is Prof's Eidetic Memory. 1 blue for a legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. You have no maximum hand size, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've drawn more than 1 card this turn, put X +1/+1 counters on on target creature you control, where X is the number of cards you've drawn this turn -1.
Why are they making these like so cheap? Like 2 mana?
Bad. Like you're in blue, so it's nice. It's pretty good. I like it. So I can abuse this like crazy though.
Yeah, this is one that I'm going to pick a lot of copies up because again,
please just leave some for the rest of us, Daniel.
The fact that it's a 2 mana draw is pretty decent for a draw themed deck, but no max hand size is an effect you really need a lot of. Yep. Decanter of Endless Waters again for that same reason. Even if Decanter of Endless Waters didn't have the mana, I probably still would have bought all of them, but I'm out of them. I need more. I was building Alrund the other day. Alrund's very cool. Whose turn is it?
It is mine with the Pyrotechnic Performer for 1 and a red. It's a 3/2 Veshino Assassin. It has disguise for a red, and whenever the performer or another creature you control is turned face up, that creature deals damage equal to its power to each opponent.
Good.
Let's get this party started.
I like it.
We have the Raucous Theater as well, the Swamp Mountain Surveil, the Rakdos Surveil. We have Reenact the Crime, 1 triple blue, exile target non-land card in a graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn. Copy it, you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. It's not good.
I personally like this a lot.
exile in blue, but only exile from a grave.
Well, think of this. Okay, I frantic search. I discard omniscience, and then I reenact the crime.
Oh, okay, sorry, I misread the bottom. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. Oh, okay, I thought you had to still pay the copy, and I was like, this is trash. But no, yeah. So yes, if I exile your now, yes. Okay, so now I nature's claim something for 1 green, and then I do it. Yes, that's much better. I thought that it was a copy, and then I had to pay to cast the copy, and I was like, this is garbage. 9 mana to cast like a 5-drop. Much better when you read the card. Reading's hard. I get it.
Oh, I went we did one of the Brewing It Live episodes. I had to take it down because I realized that I totally built this deck not reading the card.
I was just told the whole theme was wrong.
Oh yeah,
it's where you get the whole Sharpie out. The card functions how I want it to function.
I was like, this is going to be such a fun deck, and then I reread it. I was like, oh, this doesn't work at all.
Rule 0, I win.
I think it's your turn, Mr. Dan.
No, I just read it.
Mr. Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, is it me? Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
I'm over here in my list. They're already pulling it for me.
We got Relive the Past. 5 green-white sorcery. Return up to 1 target artifact card, up to 1 target land card, up to 1 target non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. They are 5/5 elemental creatures in addition to their other types.
That's interesting.
You're in green, so it's late game to bring stuff back. I like it.
7 mana to bring back 15 powers. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the artifact is still whatever artifact you throw away. The enchantment's still whatever enchantment, right? So, there's still, you could have a 5/5 doubling season.
That's very true. I'll just take this last land too. We got the Shadowy Backstreet. It's a plain swamp. Tapped, surveil, all that good stuff,
Then we've got the Sharp-Eyed Rookie, 1 and a green for a 2/2 human detective with vigilance. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if its power is greater than Sharp-Eyed Rookie's power, or its toughness is greater than Sharp-Eyed Rookie's toughness, put a +1/+1 counter on Sharp-Eyed Rookie, then investigate. This is a really long-winded way of saying, Brian, this card has evolve.
Kind of, yeah. Put a 1/1 counter on it, and it's all right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if its power or toughness is greater than Sharp-Eyed Rookie's,
and Sharp-Eyed Rookie's
just
toughness
put a +1/+1 counter on it and investigate.
Skipping evolve.
It's true. All right, we got a Steam Core Scholar for 2 and a blue. It is a weird detective for a 2/2 with flying and vigilance. When Steam Core Scholar enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. Then discard 2 cards unless you discard an instant or sorcery card or a creature card with flying.
No, you're a weird detective.
Guys, it's not right for name calling.
I think that's not a bad one. But I really like the next one is the so there's kind of a story that's been going on for a little bit in Magic. There's 10th District Guard, then 10th District Veteran, and then 10th District Legionnaire. And it's all the same person who has been named before, Maleva, as they move up the ranks, defending their home. So I'm going to quickly, I really think that those are, very, very cool ones. Where's the other? So, yeah, it's the Guard, 10th District Guard enters, target creature gets 2/0. Veteran, it untaps another creature. The Legionnaire, it's very cool that this is upgrading. And then we have 10th District Hero. And, Ravnica was where the War of the Spark stuff was going on, right? So this is this is Maleva upgrading through it, and this is a long-winded way of saying I'm going to build this as a commander. So 10th District Hero is 1 and a white for a 2/3 human. Pay 1 and a white, you collect evidence 2. 10th District Hero becomes a human detective with base power 4 and toughness, with base power and toughness 4/4 and gains vigilance. Who cares? Then 2 and a white. Collect evidence 4. If 10th District is a hero, 10th District Hero is a detective, it becomes a legendary creature named Mavilla the Stalwart. It has base power and toughness 5/5, and has other creatures you control have indestructible. It's a very, very cool way of having the card get through all of the different things. And Maleva's in a lot of cards. Maleva's also in Defiant Strike. Yeah. I really like the unnamed legendaries. I'm a big fan of those. So
interesting card, I have to say. It's really, really, really cool.
Again, trash mechanic of collect evidence. Hate it. Not a fan at all. But
although, like the fact that you can give all your other creatures indestructible is really, really, really strong.
Yeah, I agree. Good defender. Brian, please.
All right, we have Teysa, Opulent Oligarch, 1 white-black, legendary creature, human advisor. Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, investigate for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever a clue you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. This ability triggers only once each turn, and she's a 2/3. I was going to say, hey, I'm going to build this until that last sentence.
Even without that last sentence, right? Like you have a draw mechanic built into the commander. You have the ability to make people lose life whenever, like a Disciple of the Vault or anything like that, right? So you've got a lot of ability to make these spirits. You have token generation on your commander. Who cares? It's only 1. It's still a 1/1 flying spirit. This is and you're in the Teysa colors, obviously, of the doubled up things. Like I could see this being a really, really powerful card, especially with the draw built into it.
I would have preferred it. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I feel like this is another one that goes into the 99 of a different Teysa.
Fair.
I would have preferred it
if each turn just kills it.
Yeah. Or once, if it was once each turn, but her ability was at the end of each end step.
No, I still think that's pretty good. Just the being able to throw clues away, because even going around the table, right? If you've got the mana to sink in, getting 3 draws, 3 tokens, I like that. I don't know.
Or even keep the ability triggers only once each turn, but yeah, at the beginning of each end step, investigate for each opponent who lost life this turn.
I see what you're saying with the beginning of your end step. Okay.
Yep.
I think it's playable still. I think I'll see some cool decks with it. Especially the one thing I trashed Brawl a lot. I really, really gave Brawl the business. And
sure did.
I really, really gave Brawl the business when it came out. But with the changes to Standard and Brawl actually being like something you can play now, I could see this as something I might build, right? Like I might build some of these things in Brawl, because Brawl is in tiny leaders. You can have a lot of these, right? And like Judith will be really, really fun in Brawl. So will like a lot of these. So I could see it maybe having more of a resurgence on Arena. On Arena, this would be pretty fun. I can see what you mean about like for like only a commander thing, that maybe it slots better into just like other Teysa, for instance, right?
What happened to you from like 45 minutes? I'm only looking at these from a commander standpoint.
Well, Brawl is still online commander, right? Like it's the best we have for an online commander format right now. And like I said, Brawl was unplayable trash when it came out. But like when they changed the standard rotation to be longer, and actually because the old standard rotation, like you had like 3 sets to play with basically, right? And now like we've got a pretty big standard block to build with and play with, so it's pretty fun. But yeah, like with the old rotating format, it's so hard to get people to buy into it. That's why they made that change, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to play more Brawl. Maybe I'll make Brawl decks tonight.
Moving on, we've got Thundering Falls. It is the Izzet Surveil land. Then we've got Tolsimir, Midnight's Light. 2 green, double white for a 3/2 legendary creature, Elf Scout with lifelink. When Tolsimir of Midnight's Light enters the battlefield, create Voja Fenstalker, a legendary 5/5 green and white wolf creature token with trample. Whenever a wolf you control attacks, if Tolsimir attacked this combat, target creature an opponent controls blocks that wolf this combat if able.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
There's 2 creatures that would go really well in this deck.
Banding, we know. Get over yourself.
All right.
Banding bot has joined the chat.
All right, next card. We have Treacherous Greed. 1 in a white and in a black. Instant. An additional cost to cast a spell. Sacrifice a creature that dealt damage this turn. Draw 3 cards. Each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. Interesting. I don't see this being a good rare though. I would say like uncommon, but
the fact that it has to have dealt damage is kind of not phenomenal. But again, that draw 3 cards, each opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
You could just pair it with pingers.
I put it in the Tesa deck.
That's true.
Make my clue.
But like, if you have a pinger, like, would you really want to sacrifice it? Like, maybe with like the Tesa they were talking about before, if you sacrifice a 1/1 spirit, I can see that.
Yeah.
But even then, that's really like they have to have like basically no flyers or no blockers, because if you have something that's big, you don't want to sacrifice it.
True.
No.
So I say this is more like an uncommon than a rare.
At uncommon, it would have made sense. It would be a good uncommon, playable. And
then we also have 2 of the lands. I'm going to go through real quickly. We have the Undercity Sewers, which is the Mir Surveil land, and then we have the Golgari one for the Underground Mortuary.
We have Unyielding Gatekeeper, 1 and a white for a 3/2 Elephant Cleric with Disguise, 1 and a white. When it's turned face up, exile another target non-land permanent. If you control it, return it to the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, its controller creates a 2/2 white and blue detective. I really am a big fan of that. That's pretty solid as a blink option to save something of mine and also a get rid of something of theirs. That's pretty phenomenal removal, to be honest. Cast it for 3 face down and then you flip it up. I like that. You take the Anim Pakal bait.
Yeah, so we got War Leader's Call, 1 red, white, enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1. And whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, War Leader's Call deals 1 damage to each opponent.
Wild. That's so good.
Then
I can't stop preaching how much of a problem that commander is.
Anim's a problem, but this is like Impact Tremors is played so much, right? Like this is just another Impact Tremors with an Anthem is crazy.
Perforos, yeah. Please
Then we've got the Wojek Investigator, 2 and a white for a 2/4 Angel Detective with Flying and Vigilance. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate once for each opponent who has more cards in hand than you.
I like that one. I think we covered that in the promos, right?
Yeah, we covered it in the promos.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. It's all good.
That was like 4 days ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, exactly. That was Sunday. That was Sunday's episode. This is Wednesday. This is Wednesday's business.
I guess take the next one too.
Sure. The penultimate rare that we've got is World Soul's Rage. X red and a green for a sorcery. It deals X damage to any target. Put up to X land cards from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped.
It's pretty good.
Wow.
Especially with like a Nahiri's lithoforming or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so strong. That's crazy. Oh, man. All right. And let's just finish this off here with Yaris, Roar of the Old Gods. 2 in a red and a green for a 4/4 legendary creature Centaur Druid. Other creatures you control have haste. Whenever 1 or more face-down creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Whenever a face-down creature you control dies, return it to the battlefield face-down under its owner's control. If it's a permanent card, then turn it face-up. Strong.
I think it's a cool card. There's a few uncommons I wanted to rip through as well. Aftermath Analyst is one of them. It's 1 and a green for an elf detective 1/3. When it enters, you mill 3, but it has 3 and a green, sack it, return all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. That's a great card for like a Zuran Orb kind of throwaway thing.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a branch of the Vitu-Ghazi, which is a colorless land, taps for colorless, but it also has Disguise. And when it's turned face up, you add 2 mana of any one color until end of turn, you don't lose it. I think that's pretty playable.
Did you read the flavor text of your Aftermath Analyst? Could someone bring me more evidence markers? Like, a lot more?
I like that. There's one, it's an obvious like story part, and I'm only reading it because of the story part. but call a surprise witness is 1 and a white. Return target creature with mana value 3 or less from your grave to the battlefield. Put a flying counter on it. It's a spirit. It's Teysa as a ghost, which is cool. And it's why would a little thing like death stop me from running the Syndicate? I'm going to be here for a long, long time. That's based. That's as base as it gets.
Another uncommon is Insidious Roots. Black and a green enchantment. Creature tokens you control have tap to add 1 mana of any color. Whenever 1 or more creature cards leaves your graveyard, create a 0/1 green plant creature token, then put a +1/+1 counter on each plant you control, and that is some of the nicest art in the set.
Which one? Insidious Roots? Let me scroll on down and find it. You got me interested with nice artwork.
Upside down city.
Oh, you like that artwork?
I love that artwork.
I hate that artwork. A lot of people, that's 90% of the Instagram comments on that one are, this artwork is terrible. You have a different art taste than me, Slothy, and I like that. That is a good card, though. I like all these other cases. We get uncommon cases, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, I wanted to talk the white one I like. Case of the Gateway Express. When it enters, choose a creature you don't control. Each creature you control deals 1 damage to that creature. That's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
To solve, you attack with 3 or more creatures, or 3 or more creatures attack this turn, and solved creatures get 1/0. That's pretty decent. The Shattered Pack case as well is to solve, when it enters, search your library for a basic land, put it into your hand, then shuffle. That's 2 mana, colorless. That's a great card for a lot of decks. To resolve, there's 5 colors among permanents. Who cares? Solved at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature control gains flying, double strike, and vigilance. That's pretty good. So is the other.
I like that a lot.
So is the other white one. Whenever a detective enters under your control, and whenever a detective you control is turn face up, put a 1 counter on it. To solve, you control 3 or more detectives. Solved, if 1 or more tokens will be created under your control, put those tokens plus a clue are made. I like things that replace things like that. It's a little too specific for me to love it, but the Trampled Garden one's pretty good artwork too.
There's Crime Novelist for 2 in a red. This one just seems stupid. It's a Goblin Bard for 1/3. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on Crime Novelist and add 1 red.
Oh yeah, that was the broken one.
Yeah. So your treasures basically make 2 mana now.
Oh yeah, that's really good. I went way down because I was looking for some other stuff, but we've got Wisp Drinker Vampire as well. 2 and 1 white, 1 black, Vampire Rogue, 2/4 flying. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters under your control, each opponent loses a life, and you gain a life. And then 7, 5, 1 white. So it's like 5 colorless, 1 white, 1 black. Creatures you control with power 2 or less gain Death Touch, lifelink. I don't think anyone's going to use that last one. I scrolled way, way, way down.
Yeah, he's really down there. I'm just laughing at the artwork for Frantic Scapegoat. So, because it's for a single red, it's a 1/1 creature goat. It has haste. When Frantic Scapegoat enters the battlefield, suspect it. Whenever 1 or more other creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if Frantic Scapegoat is suspected, you may suspect one of the other creatures. If you do, Frantic Scapegoat is no longer suspected. I think it's just I just like the artwork for it. I just think it's stupid.
Fair. Look at the artwork for Private Eye. It's 1 white and a blue for a 3/3 Homunculus Detective. Other detectives you control get +1/+1. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, target detective can't be blocked this turn. Yup, it's a vase, all right.
That's funny. There's a common way, way down that I have literally at this moment, and it's Wednesday, remember. But I literally just messaged my game store and I told them to give me every one they have. It's Pick Your Poison. It's 1 green. It's a sorcery. Choose 1. Each opponent sacks an artifact. Each opponent sacks an enchantment. Each opponent sacks a creature with flying. That's really good.
That's solid.
That's a solid turn 1. Somebody hits that turn 1 Soul Ring. No. I'm not destroying it. You're choosing to sacrifice it. It's not my fault you don't have another one.
See, that's what I play the other one. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact.
Tribute to the Wild. It's a great card.
Yeah. I love it.
Tribute to the Wild is wonderful. I really like the Slam Against Humanity as well. Did you guys see that one?
No.
Yes.
Yeah. 2 and a green sorcery. Create a 0/0 green ooze creature token with trample. Put X 1/1 counters where X is 2 plus the total number of cards you own in exile and in your graveyard that are oozes named Slam Against Humanity. A deck can have any number of cards named Slammed Against Humanity.
That's funny.
And we are about to Give me all slime against humanity as well.
Have you guys seen or even glanced at the full art lands?
Yes, they're beautiful.
They're lovely.
Yeah, they look fantastic. See if
overall, I think this okay. So let's go with this. Okay, of the 3 that we looked at, we have the main set, we have the commanders, and we have the clue. Of those 3, which one are you looking forward to the most? Like, if you could only spend money on one of the 3, what would you spend money on?
Like the commander.
Frothy?
I'm very torn between the commander and the clue.
Okay, and what about you, Dan?
For which one? Sorry. If I could only put money into one of the sets.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. I really like Voja, but I really like Descana, right? So those are kind of my 2 cards that I want the most out of the set is Descana and Voja. I'd probably, if I could only buy one, it would probably be the commander stuff, because the commander set, going over the commander spoilers, they looked very well built, and they looked really fun. Like the detective one looked pretty silly. I don't really know how much I'd play the surveil ones, but I'd probably have to choose the commander ones because they just looked.
I wouldn't be playing any of the evidence crap.
I have to play around with the evidence to see how well it does, because you know me, I don't care about exiling stuff from my graveyard, so I'm not worried about that. I'm willing to try any mechanic just for the sake of trying it to see how well it works. But overall, like I can't say until I play with it how good it is. So it's sort of like with the escape mechanic, in Theros. We're all before we're like, escape sucks, and then we start playing with it, and they're like, okay, you know what, escape's not bad. Stop poking your cats.
I really like the Slime Against Humanity card. I had missed that, and I'm hoping that people can find me that. I really want it. I'm trying to look at, so the Brian, if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the what is it called? It's not borderless, it is the magnified showcases. I think those are some of the coolest artworks in the set. And they just didn't really like they put a lot of very cool artwork in them that it's a big miss, in my opinion, to not have them in the main set like that.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that gives you something to hunt for then.
That's fair.
Some of these are really nice, actually. I do like them, but I don't think I can get any of the
Slothy, look
stuff.
at this Insidious Roots art, please.
Insidious.
Oh, I was looking at it too. Yeah, that's the one I just grabbed.
Insidious Roots.
That's so much better.
That one is also gorgeous.
That and foil would be just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Not on my watch is another uncommon we missed. 1 and a white exile target attacking creature. I like white exile cards.
These showcases are really nice. The artwork's really, really spot on.
I like Deduce a lot. Demand Answers is great too. Deduce is 1 and a blue, draw a card, investigate. That's very good. Demand Answers is 1 and a red, as an additional cost, sack an artifact or discard, draw 2. Very playable.
Yeah, like the magnified showcases compared to the dossier showcases. I like the magnifying ones more. Dossier, I don't really care much for.
Because with the black all the way around it, like it looks.
Dramatic Accusation is like it's what goes on in the story, and it's a very, very well drawn for what's going on in the story. We've got Alquist accusing the murderers. I won't say who the murderers are if you guys are waiting for the story on the podcast, but I'm sure you'll see the picture. But they're very, very cool. Also, Makeshift Binding is another great looking artwork card. The 2 and a white, when it enters, exile target creature and opponent leaves. Like basically just prison realms it and 2 life. I like that a lot. This will be an interesting set to see how it plays.
Found a second mole.
Well, oh no.
Called Tunnel. Tunnel Tipster. It's 1 and a green mole scout at the beginning of your end step. If a face-down creature entered the battlefield under your control this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Tunnel Tipster. You can tap it at 1/4, and it's a 1/1. That's adorable.
I am just seeing this card, and I think this is a hilarious name. Undercover Crocodile.
Oh, I wasn't the only one.
Elf
okay.
Crocodile Detective. 4, a green, a blue for a 5/5 when it deals combat damage to a player. Investigate. I'm a fan. Yeah, the Tunnel Tipster's cool artwork. I really like that.
Right?
So is Topiary Panther. That's very, very nice artwork.
Oh, actually, they changed that. Oh, they have. It's cute. A bubble smuggler for 1 in a blue. It's an octopus fish. It's a 2/1, has disguise 5 in a blue, and if it's turn face up, you put 4/1/1 counters on it. But it's so cute. I want it. It's a common too, so I'll probably get it anyways.
I'm gonna get this Slime Against Humanity deck going.
Oh, great!
Really quickly before we end, we'll end. Basically, we've gone a little long going through the ends. What's the commander for Slime Against Humanity, boys? What are we working with?
The elf, the
new Vanifar.
Well, no, but Vanifar is going to cloak them, and I don't want to cloak them. I want to cast this Slime Against Humanity as much as I can.
Oh, Adrix and Nav.
Yeah, let me reread this again real quickly here.
You get the second copy of it,
but it would be a 0/0.
The other Vanifar.
Other Vanifar? What's my other Vanifar?
Prime Speaker Vanifar. You can sack a creature, search library for a creature with mana value equal to 1 plus the sack's creature. Oh no, never mind. That's mana cost. I thought it was power.
Yeah, I don't think Vanifar's it, but who is? What's a spell slinger in green?
It would be mono green. It could be green and something else. So I would put it in something like probably Simic, where I could just because blue has a lot of copies, right? Or like
I was gonna say Adrix and Nav got 0/0s.
Mori.
Copy the spells constantly. Or is there a way to exile the spell under something and just cast it constantly again and again and again?
I think it's Wart the Raid Mother. I think that's the one we're going with. Wart the Raid Mother, if you guys don't know some old stuff. It's 4 colorless and then hybrid red-green, hybrid red-green. When it enters, you create 2 1/1 red goblins. Who cares? Each red or green instant or sorcery you cast has Conspire. As you cast it, tap 2 untrapped creatures that share a color with it. When you do, copy it and choose new targets for the copy. I think that might be the one. Calamax cares about instants.
Yeah. How about... I have to get back to you on this. I have to go through and see what there is. But those are my first impressions. It's just having at least green or red, or sorry, blue or red combined with it, just to copy up the spell and just go from there. Or like, is there a way to like? I guess we can't do that. Yeah, that's all I can really come up with right now. I need more time. But yeah, like that's the only thing I could come up with. So, or like, is there a way to cast a spell? Like, open to the audience for anyone that's listening. If you guys have any suggestions,
yeah, what am I building this?
What would you build around it?
Because I think like a Teamer Commander might be good.
I think a Teamer Commander would be great for it, just because of the fact that you can double, like you have dual cast.
I want Storm. Yes, you understand where I'm going with this.
Like that's what I would do. That's all I would
Riku.
do.
Obviously Riku.
Oh.
Yeah, where I can just keep paying to copy the spells.
Yeah. That would work. That would work really, really, really well. Or, you know what?
That's a twin reflection guy, right?
Daniel, I got a better idea for you.
Okay.
Gale, Waterdeep Prodigy,
Okay, yeah.
The background of the chef, I think it was.
Master Chef?
When the creature comes in, it gets +1/+1s.
Oh, the tokens? That'd be good. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery, you can cast up to one of the other type, though, so I can't cast my thing.
For that? Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. Shoot, never mind. But what if we went with Jaheira, Friends of the Forest, or something?
Love Jaheira. You're speaking my language
tokens,
now.
Right?
Even Jaheira and what's the background? I already use it as the bombardment. The one that lets you sacrifice your creatures, pay 1, sack it to ping things.
That's Brawler? No, that's red, right?
Yeah.
Tavern Brawler?
Is it Tavern Brawler? No, it's not. I'm looking through it right now.
We could also do Krark, something that has Krark the Thumbless paired.
Ooh.
So whenever I cast an instant or sorcery, flip it. If I lose the flip, return it to its owner's hand. If I win, copy. We could do some Krarkin.
You can do that. The other one is going to be Street Urchin for the background. So
yeah, Street Urchin would be good.
But Inspiring Leader, which is a white, commanded creatures you own have creature tokens you control get +2/+2. So all your oozes will get even bigger. But
I'm gonna do something with this. I'm glad everyone stuck around. I'll end the episode before I sit here and live brew, where we kick right into brewing it live. I'm keeping everyone here till noon on Wednesday, the 7th.
On Wednesday, yes.
Noon
Dad,
on
I have
Wednesday.
to work. What are we doing?
Yeah, we're all late for work. I'll roll our outro. Thank you guys for getting so far into the episode with us. This was way longer than I thought it was going to be. Half of it's me talking to Slam Against Humanity. They apparently only have 2. That's not acceptable. We need to do our outro. So again, come over to into99.com. That's where all of our stuff is. You can find articles, gameplay, podcast episodes, yada, 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 the whole shebang. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe. It really does help out. Give us a rating. It makes it easier for new people to see it and more people to get involved. And we can talk more Magic. It really helps out. If you want to go above and beyond liking and sharing, because you all should rate the show. Give me good ratings. Come over, check out Patreon. We've got lots of new tiers that are firing off. Brian's going to make a big announcement about those soon. Lots of big plans for the new year, as I keep saying. Brian's cat's now in the video. We've got lots of fun plans. So again, thanks everyone for getting through it all. I really, really appreciate everyone who spends time listening and hearing us rant about Magic, where I talk with Magic with my friends. And yeah, that's the gist of it. Oh, and follow us on TikTok. We finally made a TikTok. Lots of things go up there. If you use TikTok, go to TikTok and follow us.
Lots of shorts going out now.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, you guys get it. I end there. I'm good. I got nothing else to say. Slam Against Humanities. Send me them. I need a lot of them, to be honest.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye.
Later.